Dean the Golden One dropping wrestling talk. Wrestling adventure storytelling, no fake news here. Yo.
All right, everybody, we're back here. It's Thursday. It's January the 22nd of the year 2026. I have the Golden One, Mike Orange, with me, my co-host, and none other than a good friend of mine from the Roanoke, Virginia area as well, Yella Man, Bobby Yella. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing good. Mike's up your way, though, in the cold weather, so.
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
He's up in Bedford, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather lives out there.
Okay.
Off 24.
Okay. I know exactly where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about 5 minutes from where I'm at.
Well, when y'all are getting ready for all this snow coming up, apparently, I hear about in that region, I'm going to be down here in the palm trees in the sun, so I'll be thinking about you.
Rub it in, Jamie. Rub it in, brother.
Don't worry, I have to rub in a lot of sunscreen. Speaking of that, rub it in because my pale rear end would be burnt. So, something about them gingers, man.
You keep on teasing us, man. Me and Mr. Golden, we're gonna come down there, and you're gonna have to get you a tag team partner, brother.
Hey, I can probably hook that up.
Yeah, who you gonna get?
Are we familiar with Cahagas, guys?
Oh, now, man. See, now you just cheating, bro. That ain't fair.
See, all I gotta do is stand in the corner. He takes care of both of them.
Oh, right.
Cahagas is a bad dude.
Hey, just bring it.
What'd you say, Mike?
Just bring it. We got this.
Okay. Mike's very confident you two got it. Well, if
Mike,
you get a hold
start out the match, brother. Hot tag, Yellow.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you get a hold of me, you do have it. It's over.
Hey, that's when I come in the ring. You get.
So, each week, me and Mike come in each week. We talk about current wrestling news, right? We talk about the old school days. We talked about my travels in the past. And I've been talking for months, right, to get guests on this show because that's what I want to do. I want to find out about things maybe that, we've talked about a lot of stuff, but maybe we've missed something over the years, because it's hard to talk about everything, especially when we hang out in locker rooms and we're going over matches and we're trying to talk to 20 other people too in the same evening, because that's the way the locker rooms are. It's very noisy at times, and we don't get all our good road stories in unless we're out personal and, maybe eating or something. So that's my main point of getting on here and getting some of the indie talent out there that's very good in my eyes, to get more eyes on them, to get them more work outside of their region. You're very popular in the Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia area, Tennessee. But I'd like for people to know more about Bobby Yella, since we got you on here, out and farther out, maybe down south more, Georgia, Florida. Maybe get your bookings on the West Coast, whatever we can do to help. That's what this podcast is about as well. I'm giving back to the younger talent because I know how hard it was breaking in. And everybody knows my story, Bobby. I know a little bit about yours, but I'm trying to guess what year you started. I'm trying to see if I'm right about this. Was it 2008 or am I wrong about that year?
Actually, I started coming around 2008, but I didn't get to start till about 2011.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I hung around and I watched the old school CWF guys down in Burlington and Alamance County area. And man, I was a huge fan of those guys. You had your Trevor Lees and your Donnie Dollars and your Eric Royals, not just all those guys like Fatback, and I was a huge fan of that stuff. So I was watching it, but I didn't really get a good start until about August of 2011.
Okay. So when you're starting, I'm trying to figure out where you got your start, like your initial training. Was that now let me ask, and you can confirm if it's right. Was that with Jimmy Love or was that with Boogie?
Well, technically, when I first started, I was with a guy based out of the Carolinas as well. His name was Robbie Stanley. I know you know Robbie, don't you?
Yeah, Robbie's a good dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie pretty much gave me my start, and Jimmy Love was there because you know they're old school AIWF brothers. So
Yeah.
when Robbie would run a program with me, we get done with the program, he'd send me over to Jimmy, and Jimmy would teach me some stuff on the fly and run a program with me. Everybody was trying to help me out. Guys named Isaac Daniels and the Scrapyard Dog. It was a bunch of guys down there doing the best they could for me. I could say I was pretty spoiled.
That's good, man, because you know it's hard. It's a hard break for a lot of people. At least it used to be, even back then maybe. But there's so many wrestling schools now. You know, you just gotta make sure you're getting the right one. That's why I try to tell the new kids today. Make sure you get the right trainers. The fundamentals. You got to learn them first, and you ain't gonna be able to learn anything after. So let me ask you, AIWF. You mentioned that group. That's where Robbie was and all that. Was the Bravados still around?
The Bravados. I'll give you a funny story about the Bravados, man.
Yeah, please do.
My very first ever wrestling match, we were at Eden, North Carolina. We were at the mall and like a little old Sears or something like that. And the Bravados were actually there, and I was in the ring trying to do something. It was actually my very first time ever inside of a ring, because when I started training, I was doing the backyard goof stuff, and it was just a bunch of mess. But I see these guys, and they look like the guys from Ring of Honor, but I'm not too sure. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure, but I heard it was them. I was just trying not to be a Mizark, if that makes sense.
We all are.
Yeah. And I'm over there in the ring training or whatever, and the promoter, a guy named Isaac Daniels, comes over, and he's like, "Hey, kid, how long you been working?" And the Bravados was sitting over there talking to Lee Valiant about maybe 10 feet away from where I was in the ring training. But I didn't even really, I thought it was these guys. I didn't even know. I was familiar with Lee, though, because like I said, I used to watch the old CWF stuff. And right before I go to tell the guy, like, I'm not even nowhere near trained, the Bravado boys, I can't remember whether it was Houston or I can't really remember which one it was. Yeah. But they stopped them, and them and Lee was like, "Yeah, we know this kid, man. He's been working a little while." And I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying anything because I desperately want to wrestle. And like they're like putting me over and stuff, and they're like, only thing is he forgot his gear, but we got some stuff in the back for him if you want to give him a shot. And I'm like, so the Bravado boys go back there and get me a singlet apiece out of both of their bags. I don't know why they did it for me, but they bring me these 2 singlets, and that was my very first gear. The Bravados gave me my gear and kind of lied for me to get on the show. Them and Lee Valiant, they hyped me all up, bro. And I went out there, got my butt kicked in a triple threat match. But it was like, I was the new guy. So you had your bad guy and your good guy. They pretty much canned me up until the end of the match. And then the good guy did the big thing and pulled me on top of him. So I won my very first match. Shout out to the Bravados. Thank y'all for that.
Nice. They were good kids, man. You know, I worked with them down here with FIP and Evolve, probably around 2013, 2014, and you went to China together. Actually, we went on a China trip with them from here from Florida. But good guys, man. Always professional. Behind the curtain as well as in that ring, and they really know their stuff. And you know, being with guys like that really wanted to learn. And you know, they always say there's something in the water around that region, and I believe that after Omega, you know, after all of us, almost everyone out of Omega got signed somewhere. And then you got guys from like the Bravados from the Carolinas. You got Caleb Conley's actually on JCW now, and
That's
he was
crazy.
down here.
I actually wrestled him.
Yeah, good dude, man. but he's been at TNA and different things, right? So I always
Mhm.
say there's something in the water in that region. So a lot of good talent, but I tell you why I believe that is because of the foundation that the old school era is still there. And a
Oh,
lot of guys
absolutely.
care, like Boogie's got his camp up in Shawsville, which we'll touch on there shortly because I know you do a lot of things with Boogie. And I want to hear your stories about the camp and all that so we can get that out to people and maybe aspiring wrestlers that are currently in the business or maybe wanting to get in the business. But,
Mhm.
it's just something up there, man. I don't know what it is. And you're one of them guys I put up there as being that could go that next level if given the right opportunity. Now, the business landscape has changed from when I was roaming around the 90s on the indies to I got my first break, right? It's a whole lot
Mhm.
different now than it was then.
Mhm.
But still, you still got the guys that love the business, that will listen to the old timers and will take it in and still use the foundation to build up to make them somebody. And I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that area still because, man, the last show I worked in Virginia was back in June, 2 nights with you guys in NICW. Was
Mhm.
it NICW? Is that right?
NICW, yep.
Okay.
National Independent Championship
That's
Wrestling,
right.
yep.
Up in Stewart at the building there. Yeah. So
Yep.
that was my last Virginia gig. And I always love work with Scott. He throws on, and Brody, they throw on a good show, man. And you
Oh,
got
absolutely.
Larry Cooter, man, just popped up in the feed earlier on my YouTube feed. It was you and Larry Cooter working June of 2024. The year before,
Mhm.
we do them June shows like 2 in a row every year up
Yep.
there. And it's you two. And then, of course, Cooter takes the victory. But I'm refereeing it, so I thought it was pretty cool. That popped up in my feed this morning before we even did on
Yeah.
podcast, and I wasn't even looking for it. So it's kind of like an omen of some kind, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. So, Mike, let's throw it over to you. Do you got anything extra you want to add to this or talk about?
Um, I don't. Let's just say you said something about the Boogie Woogie Man
Yeah.
and stuff. Don't forget, we love independent wrestling here.
Oh, we do.
We did.
That's the
Yeah,
foundation
we
of the
did.
business now. Yeah.
And then with the podcast, I can actually shred the flyers showing this Saturday
Yeah.
with the Boogie
Ah,
Woogie Man in Montvale, Virginia,
There you go.
the
yes,
Boogie Dance
sir.
26.
So the
You ain't gonna
question,
be there this time, are you?
Well, not this time because I took a prior booking, but I will be back at Pure Pro for the Blind Date Tag Team Tournament in Danville, Virginia, coming up next month, I believe, right at the beginning of the month. And I love those guys. That's my family at Pure Pro. Shout out to Jimmy Love and all them guys, man. They did a lot for me, and they still do a lot for me.
good
And they're
deal.
gonna take care of Papa, man. We've had a couple of Valiant
Yeah, I
Cups
can't
there.
see it.
What is
I
it?
can't see it, but I got it up on my phone. February 13th, Danville,
Yep,
Virginia.
Oh, we
See
that
see
one
it.
Derek
right
there with the
there.
blue bandana. Yeah, see, I'm prepared. I saw that. I think yesterday it popped
Yeah.
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
your picture's actually on there, like you said. Yeah,
yep.
that's good, man. Hey, so where are you at this weekend if you're not up in Montvale?
This weekend I'm supposed to, if we don't hit this big old
Snow?
crazy storm, like if it's not the snowpocalypse, I'm supposed to be making my return to American Lucha Wrestling down in Burlington, North Carolina
Okay.
at the Lucha Dome. And man, like I go back so much with those guys. I've wrestled your new WWE superstars, Javon Evans and Jackson Drake in that building.
Yeah.
When they were just little fellas, man. And I love those guys. Shout out to them in the 5-star camp and Cozone and them over there. I love North Carolina and the Carolina area.
Yep.
A lot of that too. I'll touch on what you said a little bit earlier about the old school and stuff like that,
Yep.
and the Caleb Conleys. I'll give you a good story about him in a second too. A lot of that stuff, man, I got to give the credit to guys like George South.
Yep.
Because George is. I did my first podcast the other day, and I intentionally left George out of it when I was talking about who my favorites were. because George isn't just a favorite to me. George is like my hero, you know.
Okay.
Like the biggest compliment I ever got in wrestling. Like somebody compared me to George South because I was that easy to work with, if that makes sense.
Now, you did know that I got my start with Stallion and George?
George and Stallion. Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
Back in 1993. So I'm a little outdated, but
Hey, no, you
Yeah.
got the George when it was right.
dude, it was, back in, I don't know. I'll tell you how I got my start real quick. If you hadn't heard, Bobby, I know I probably told you before, but like I said, over the years, we forget things. That's why I always say a pro wrestler tells the same story, or somebody in pro wrestling, right, tells the same story about 1,800 times. If they got like 20 good stories, you hear them all over and over and over, right?
Right.
So I got started in 93. October 30th was my first day, right? It was at the Kings Mountain, North Carolina National Guard Armory. And Stallion had been trying for probably close to 8 or 9 months. Hey, because I went to all their shows. Hey kid, you ought to referee. Hey kid, you ought to referee, So I was really a shy kid growing up. I had just turned 15 that year. And finally I gave in and I got me some ref gear. I got the whole, all black, because that's what I'm old school. I like to stay on the, cusp of it.
Oh yeah.
And dude, I don't know nothing. They don't really tell me much. But the basic rules of a match. And my first match, I didn't even have the ending to it. So I had to go in there like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just got to hope I'm counting the right finish, right?
Right.
And everything did work out right. I did get the right finish. It made me happy. But I was clueless as the day is long, but that's how I got my start. And then the next week I show up on Friday, and it was Elkin, North Carolina, another armory, because Stallion mainly booked armories.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, Bobby, I've worked in every damn armory in the North Carolina region. I guarantee you. But it's kind of like the other referee quit on him. The one that was long time standing. Second night in the business, right? Don't really know much. Only referee. 8 matches. So they threw me in the lines then, man. But I tell you what, I learned on the job. But after a couple weeks go by, they start filling me in a little more after they see I'm coming back and interested. And I got to learn about the business. And I tell you what, me and Stallion didn't see eye to eye a lot. After about close to 2 years in with him, right? But, I always tell people I appreciate, Stallion and George both. Me and George never had a word. It was just me and Stallion butted heads. But
yeah.
But I respect Stallion to this day, and I appreciate him for everything he's ever done for me. And I really try not to say nothing bad about the guy, because he gave me my start, my foundation, and I respect that, But he did have some good Boogie stories. Him and George both did.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's before I met Boogie. They told me some good Boogie stories, but yeah. So I know me and Mike were talking, right? We want to know about Shawsville and Boogie's place in depth, because I've been there a couple times, because I had to get my picture with Boogie a couple times, because, you never know when your last day in the business is, and you never see nobody again, right? I may quit and never see nobody again, but I have these pictures and memories.
Right.
So I started making sure I got all this. I even got several with you just to make sure. I hope, we're seeing each other now, but I'm saying, and I hope we see each other again down the road, and we probably will. But I'm just saying, just in case, life is unpredictable, right?
Absolutely.
I got all these memories. They're on video, they're on pictures, and I tell everybody, get your pictures. When I broke in, they told us to kayfabe, don't take pictures with the guys backstage. Now it's widely open. Just take your pictures.
I come from the last of that too. I was afraid to go up. Like I've been on plenty shows with guys like Ivan Koloff and just big names like that I wish I would have just been like, man, forget what these guys say, man, that's Uncle Ivan. I finally got one with Nikita, but like I wish I would have took the pictures when I started out, man.
Yes.
I definitely do.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Boogie. How you initially maybe met Boogie for the first time, and then we'll move on to how you got involved with helping him out to school.
Well, crazy because Boogie's been around me my whole entire life ever since I was a little baby, man. My great uncle Calvin Gregory was a wrestler. I think Boogie had a hand in his training, but he was trained by the legendary Eclipso. You familiar with Clip, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was trained by him, and he was Clip's tag team partner for years. So Boogie, they would always do shows and stuff with Boogie, and I would always be around, you know what I'm saying? So ever since I was a baby, I've been around professional wrestling, and my great uncle would take us to the show, and we'd try to figure out who he was because he wore a mask. He was the mask enforcer. You know what I mean? He was a bad guy. We never knew because that's when kayfabe was alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a whole show, we're like, where we're trying to figure out which one my uncle is, but Boogie was always the big star on those shows or whatever, and he's been around me my whole life. And when I got into wrestling, like, I was hard-headed. Boogie had a few instructors out there that I didn't really get along with, and every time funny because when I ran into him and I told him that I'd started wrestling, he remembered me because he remembered my uncle. And Boogie don't forget nothing. He's met millions and millions of people, but if something about you strikes him, he is never going to forget you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just the person that he is. So I told him, I ran into him at an event and told him that I was a couple of months in, and he gives you the spiel, you need to come out to camp or whatever. And Frank Parker and all of them guys like Sean Cruz and them was telling me, yeah, come on out there, we'll take care of you. And I'm being hard-headed. I want to do it my way. I don't want to go train with them because I'm gonna have to actually get in there and train, and I just want to do it my way and stuff like that. And
right.
So we are a couple of years in now, and then I run into George South. And George, like, beats it in your head, like, how important training is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I contact Boogie back, and I'm like, this is what George told me. I'm sorry for being hard-headed. And, I started at camp. It still took me some time to get up there. So I had been wrestling for 10 years before I actually started training at Boogie's camp.
Right.
Because how it is when the hard heads kick in, like, and you get a little ego about yourself because this is like rock and roll, man.
It's an ego-driven
like
business.
Rock stars at a certain point.
Absolutely.
And I finally get up there, man, and Boogie's like, man, I don't know what took you so long. Like, we could have been through this. And I just, I owe it all to him because not only did he help me with my wrestling, and, like, I feel like I'm one of the last actual guys that could say I was trained by Jimmy Valiant because he took that extra time with me to pull me to the side and stay there late with me and watch the things that I was doing in the ring and, like, watch who Yellow Man was trying to become. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he really took to me. And like I said, he's known me my whole life. So,
right.
You know what I mean? I've always been around him, but it was never like the big superstar Boogie. It was always like a family member. It was like Papa. We go to Papa's house.
Yep.
When he's off of work or whatever. So I've always been around him. I never really got to see that superstar side of Boogie until I understood what it meant. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, he took me under his wing. He worked with me. I got a little bit better, and then he made me an instructor of his camp because the students, it was all about communication. I became an instructor because, you got those big burly guys in there, some of the new students can be a little bit intimidated by that.
Sure.
And Boogie said, man, you're the approachable guy, so I need you to explain what these students can't get from, they might be scared to go talk to a big guy like Mike Marr. And Big Mike's the sweetest guy ever. And
Yep.
guys like Koga, they're just big and intimidating to some of these newer guys. And it's a different world. So Boogie was like, since I'm the approachable guy and easy to communicate with, and a lot of that I learned from guys like George, and you got to be easy to communicate with. And so he made me an instructor of his camp. And man, like Boogie would teach me stuff that you would have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that he learned from Dick the Bruiser and his mentors and guys like Jerry Lawler. And, Boogie, the main thing he taught me was how to keep myself safe and make money. And that's with George too. Those guys, they teach you how to do stuff like that. And with the camp, man, we just try to give back, and we're open 52 weeks a year. And I recommend, if you don't want to at least wrestle, at least come out and check out our Hall of Fame museum and come out there and hang out with the guys. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, it's something. It's a sight to see. And Boogie's there every Sunday, right?
Every Sunday.
Yeah. 12 to 4. Is that correct?
12 to 4. And also, too, guys, if y'all want gear made, Mama Angel is the tailor. I'm telling you, man. Gear that'll change your year, man, and your career. Angel's Wrestling Wear. Man, I'm telling you, just about everything Yellow Man got come from Mama Angel. I got some stuff here and there from other folks or whatever, but that was just because they were getting rid of it anyway. But when you really want good looking gear, if you could dream it, Mama Angel can make it, man. I'm telling you.
I did not know that fact. That's good to know. And I hope any of the listeners, if you're in the business and you need gear, I mean, you need good gear, because you don't want to look like you got it down at the Walmart or the Salvation Army. You know what I'm saying? You want to look like a professional wrestler. And that's what a lot of guys don't get. So, we're in a new era, though. We got to say it. We're in an era of, when I broke in, and I know in Japan they probably wore them, and Mexico maybe, but nobody had the pads, the kick pads.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's acceptable. It's part of the business, right? Here in America as well. But in 1993, everybody had to have boots. Everybody had to have tights still. All that, man. I mean, I came through the last possible era of before the Monday Night Wars, started. Mm-hmm. And they started giving you this elaborate TV where, somebody's blowing up next week. But, that's a whole lot different era, right? We're looking at the Attitude Era. But I'm talking about when we had to kayfabe everything. And I kind of missed that because it was so entrenched in my head all these years to kayfabe everything, protect the business. Of course, we're out of that era now, for sure. There's no more. The WWE's got a behind-the-scenes show, for God's sakes, on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
Yeah.
I love WWE's product and stuff, but I try to stay true to the old school out of respect for guys like George and Style and guys like Joe Brody and guys like Boogie and stuff, because I'm going to be honest with you. Joe Brody is not a fan of the flippy kick pad at all. If you and this is for anybody trying to get booked for American Pro Wrestling based out of West Virginia. First thing he's gonna ask you is if you got boots. And a lot of those old school guys are like that, man. Yeah. Even if you don't wear them, you better have a pair of boots in your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the way it's a way that we were all brought in, and then I know you broke in several years after that, but the point is the people that broke you in were trying to teach you the same thing. But yeah, when you break in, it's like that, I mean, I believe, like I was saying back to, I didn't have my finishes my first night in the business. I believe they were kayfabing me breaking in the business. Okay, you finally get me to referee, but then you don't tell me nothing. You're kayfabing me, you know. But it's kind of funny in a way, but and I laugh at it now. But I think all that's a good learning experience because you learn on the job. But then another story is, we told this a couple weeks ago. Me and Mike were talking about it. He was wondering when I finally took my first bump in the business inside the ring. Well, the first bump happened in January '94. We were up in West Virginia. It's near a town near wherever that Mothman's from. It's way up.
Oh, New
way
Haven?
Way up at the top of the state. Yeah.
I wrestle in New Haven a good bit, so
Yeah.
I'm familiar with there.
Well, we were at some elementary school somewhere, and I was in the corner because I was still green first 3 months in, and they went to shoot the guy in reversal, but the ref wasn't supposed to take a bump. But he runs into me, so I'm like, I'm going down. So I go down, and then the next week I walk into the Armory in Belmont. You see what I'm getting here again, though? Armories. I think that's all I worked in the first 2 years. The Armory in Belmont, and then Stallion goes, bump the kid with you. So I'm starting to take every bump imaginable, Bobby. Suplexes, body slams. I'm trying to think here. Something you don't see no more. That's why I can't think of the move. Backdrops. You don't really see many backdrops. Yeah. I'm taking all this stuff. And I learned quickly because at my first few months in refereeing, I didn't wear knee pads or anything. But after I bumped that day, I learned quickly, maybe I should have knee pads. So I started wearing protectors on my knees. But it started because of the bumping, you know. But Stallion had a thing once he knew I learned how to bump, right? He'd have a thing at some of these shows afterwards, he'd lose his match. You know, he'd be the big baby face of the show in the main event. And let's say the Russian Assassin beat him, whoever was the heavyweight champion at the time. And afterwards, he'd grab me by the shirt and point at me, sort of like Hogan, and ask the crowd if he should hit me, right? And of course, they'd beat the crap out of this little guy, right? So then he'd punch me, and then he'd pick me up in you remember the helicopter by, Al Perez, where he spun the guy around?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. And you got to land flat from that, too, or you want to kill yourself. Yeah.
It's always us smaller guys that have to deal with that crap.
It's because they can pick us up easier.
Yeah, bro.
What a way to rib you, too, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, with me, I didn't do well on carnival rides or anything like that. So the first time they picked me up and spun me, I'm already green.
What about the one carnival ride I hate the most, since we're talking about that, is the one that looks like a spaceship. You go in and it spins around, and you're against the wall.
The zero gravity.
Oh, I hate that thing.
Yeah.
That in the boat.
Man.
The swinging boat. Because at the boat, my wife likes to sit at the back of it. And the first time I did it, I never rode it as a kid because I was always timid and I didn't like rides. So I rode it with her, and I swear to you, my rear end kept coming off the seat, and I thought I was going to fly out of it. I told her, I told her when we got off, I said, I'm not doing that damn thing again.
That big old pirate ship. Yeah.
Yeah, never again, man. We've been together 26 years, and I bet that was 25 years ago. Never again did I ever get on one. So.
What's crazy is I was working at Dagler Attractions in 2011, the Salem Fair, when I overheard somebody talking about having a wrestling match. And that's what got me in the direction to be a wrestler.
Okay.
So
that's
all
pretty
of
cool.
that, being a carny, and that's the real deal for me, because I was actually gonna travel with Dagler Attractions, and all of the carnies loved me. My best friend was the clown. I worked at the Big Wheel, so the Dunkin' Clown booth was right next to my ride, and when I got on break, I'd go over there and smoke cigarettes with the drunk clown. He was awesome, man. I love that dude.
Wow. So
yeah.
So speaking of that, so is you're an ICP fan?
Oh man,
you said clowns. That's what brought it up. So
I couldn't really say fan, but more those guys are like, in a way, fam. And I've never even met them, and they're like family because of the things that when I grew up, what they stood for, and the way that the Wicked Clowns give back. And man, there ain't a there ain't nobody I've ever seen like that look out for their people like Shaggy Two Dope and Violent J, man. They love their people. They give the weirdos and the freaks like me a comfort space. You know what I mean? I get to be whoever I want to be. You know, I
Sure.
don't really do politics or this, that, or other. You could be whoever you want to around me. I don't care what you prefer. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You know, the world of wrestling, the way how
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
We don't care whether you're this way, that way, green,
Yeah.
purple, tie dye. We don't care, man. If you're nice to us, there's a good chance we're nice to you. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure.
Like,
I mean, that's the way it's always been. You
but
know,
those guys are just like that, man. And they, and
yeah.
they bring this family environment. That's why we're called a gang. The Juggalos are called a gang.
Right.
I'm more of an old school Juggalo, so I don't really know too much about this new era of them.
Yeah.
But like, they called us a gang when I was growing up because we're all tight like family. You know what I mean?
Right. Cool. Yeah. So I mean, who knows, man? I mean, I know the JCW is up and running too. I don't know if you've watched any of their product lately, but
Oh yeah.
it's I told Mike on here too that I found their product, and I got to work with them in WCW a few times. Their matches, both of them, when they worked a handicap match against Mike. Awesome. He was a '70s guy's gimmick at the time.
Yeah.
And they had him on top of a bus. I had to get on top of the bus with him, like a school bus. And yeah, that one that is it Shaggy, the smaller one?
Yeah.
Okay. He takes this nasty looking, like almost like a razor's edge from Mike, hits the bus, but he keeps sliding because the bus is so slippery. And he goes all the way, hits the floor awkwardly. And me and Mike both are like, I think he's dead, you know. But yeah, that was fun times, man, and that was all Russo. And,
yeah.
And I'm a big Russo fan. For the main reason is because Russo was my era of WCW. That's when I was there. So whatever happened at WCW during that time, not all of it, but the majority of it had his hands on it, and I respect him for that because he, I was there during that time. His writing, and I was also worked with him in TNA years later. But yeah, JCW, man. That's why I asked you if you're a Juggalo fan because, it's a good product, young talent. I know they want young talent on there, right?
Oh yeah. That's the place I would love to go. And we was talking about Caleb Conley earlier. I believe he's one of their champions.
Yes. I think he may have lost that recently, the American Championship.
Yeah, he may have lost that one though.
But he had that one, yeah. But I love Caleb. But yeah, man. Like I said, how old are you now, or how old were you when you started all that?
I was 19 when I started. I'll be 34 next month.
Okay, so 34 is still very young in this business because you know how George South's in the 60s, right? A couple other guys I know personally, I'm not gonna say their age, they may get mad at me, but they're a little up there, and some of them are still on television. So just put it that way. So Billy Gunn, I think he's even said his age. He's in his 60s, and he
looks better now than he did in his 20s.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Remember when he was part of the Smoking Guns, and they were
both
in the jeans? Yeah.
My favorite version of him was Rockabilly. I don't know why. I love Rockabilly. He had the girls. He was with the Honky Tonk Man. I love Honky Tonk Man. I love that era of wrestling, man.
Yeah, the Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, that's one guy I always wanted to work with. I never got to.
Oh, man, I love the Honky Tonk Man. I watch his interviews and stuff, and I just get to cracking up. I'm like, man, this dude's a trip. Yeah. I love Honky, man. I love those dudes.
So when we talk about your career, right? You got anything, Mike, before I jump forward?
What got you into the business? Like, so I know you said at the carnival, like you heard somebody talking. What got you that, like, the bug to get into it? Was it when you was a kid? Was it a certain match? Like, what got you into it?
Well, the what got me hooked was I used to go to my Pow Pow Tick every weekend. I would go over there on Saturday morning. I'd want to get up and watch cartoons, and he was a huge wrestling fan. I mean, we would go to Blockbuster every Saturday and get a wrestling tape. And if I behaved myself, I got to get some of the cotton candy and the little. Y'all remember how Blockbuster was set up? They had the little snacks. Yeah. I always wanted the cotton candy. And that's if I behaved myself. But this day I was not behaving myself because I wanted to watch Batman and he wasn't having it. He wanted to watch his wrestling. I think it was the WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania, the first ladder match with the Shawn and Razor?
Yeah, WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what he wanted to watch. But he was doing it because he wanted to show me this very first unique match of its kind. And he told me the way he sold it to me was these guys are real life superheroes. You got a good guy and a bad guy, and they're about to fight for a belt on a ladder. And I'm like, no way. I always thought wrestling was boring because he had me watching the old main events on the black and white, and I'd fall asleep and I didn't know what was going on. So he told me this, and I'm like, oh, whatever, man. So he fast forwards through this tape to this match. And the first thing I seen was Shawn Michaels. I think he was the heel, wasn't he? Shawn was Razor was.
No, Shawn
was it Shawn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The first thing I seen, that's what it was. The first thing I seen was Shawn Michaels. And my jaw dropped. I was like, this dude is the definition of what cool is. Like, like, oh my gosh. But then Razor came out. And that was culture to me. Like, that dude was Scarface. That dude was hip hop. That dude was everything. So that's what initially drew me in as a fan, just those two's interests. The match was just crazy. And I was like, after that, I still like Batman, but I wanted to watch wrestling. And that's what I was obsessed with. I never really wanted to be a wrestler. I was just talking to those guys. Like, I was like, that's why I was really getting back into it. Because when you're a teenager, it's hard to tell a girl, oh, I like wrestling, WWE. And I like the girls and stuff, man.
Yeah.
And, but I was just messing with those guys. I was like, what do you got to do that? When I was talking to the drunk clown, actually, and like they were carnies too when they were working at the next ride, I believe. And I hear I got a match this weekend, and da 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 da. So I go over there. I'm like, hey man, what type of match? And he's like, pro wrestling, da 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 da. I'm like, well, what do you got to do to get into that? And then they explained to me what a bump is. When I first heard them say bump, I'm thinking they about to do some type of drugs or something, because you know how carnies are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know about what these guys are talking about. And he's like, no, a bump is when you throw yourself down and see if you're tough enough or whatever. You know how the Salem parking lot is at the Civic Center. Yeah. Ain't nothing but concrete. And they're like, yeah, most of us, we could take a bump on concrete. And I'm just like, really? They're like, yeah, if you could take a bump right here on the concrete, we'll train you. I just throw myself down because, again, I was getting back into it. Sheamus was hot. I was really getting into Daniel Bryan, and these guys were like making me get the itch. Like, I'm a fan my whole life, and I'm wondering, like, well, I know Papa Boogie Man, and I know he has the school or whatever. I wonder if I could get into this. So I throw myself down, boom, and they start laughing at me. They're like, we was joking with you, man. We were ribbing you. You shouldn't have did that. We were going to help you out. But right then and there, like, that's what really got me that itch, that first bump on the concrete.
Mm.
And then so I go home and tell my dad, hey, man, I'm going to train to be a wrestler. And he looks at me and he's like, whatever, kid. You're too small for that. Good luck. And that's what really, because I hate to be told that I can't do something.
Sure. Sure. I think we all, well, at least I feel that way as well. You tell me I can't do something, that'll make me want to do it even more.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what really, after that, I was just like, I'm going for it. I don't care. Ain't nothing going to stop me. I wish I would have went to camp a little bit earlier, but like I told y'all earlier, being a hard head.
Yeah, I got you. It is what it is. We all have our time, I think, when we break into the business, and we all have our time as well as when we get our different breaks and different opportunities or whatever. Fortunately for me, I was 15 when I started, so by the time I was 21, I got seen by people that were major in the business, and I've said this before. I was the youngest hired WCW referee in history at 21 years age, right? Also, to my knowledge, I know for WCW, I don't know about the rest of the business, but the only ginger ref in WCW history as well. So I hold two things, which the Guinness Book of World Records should already know. So they may be contacted now that we speak of this again. But no, all jokes aside, we people say you make your own opportunities, but that is true. But you also have to be in the right place at the right time, and then everything comes together. It's kind of like the stars are aligned, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I tell people that are very good at this business is, yeah, you can be very good and you can make that opportunity by being good, but you got to be at the right place, right time. And then take that one person, man, I'm telling you, takes that one person to say that kid is good. And then your opportunity's in there, right? And so years later, I enjoyed going to TNA as well, got hired by WWE. This is after WCW, years later, of course. But my point is, once you get the foot in the door, the first opportunity, long as you stay in the radar, you could get another opportunity, another opportunity, another opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it's there. And I believe a lot of the talent that I used to work with up that way, a few of the guys could go to that next level. And I hope you do. I hope you get an opportunity to experience, which I know you're enjoying yourself. I know you love it. I know you're having fun, but I'd like to see something on a bigger level personally. Just for the fact that I think you could take it there. So,
I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
I've been doing a lot better as far as taking care of myself and trying to get in the right shape just in case the opportunity presents itself. I don't want to be one of those guys that half tells anybody. I want to, if they call me, I want to be ready to give them the best version of whatever product they want to present with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I want to be able to execute. If any promotion calls me, like, hey, I want to be able to know that when I come in, we're going to make some money together. Their customers are going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy with what, you know what I'm saying, we're going to put together. And that's just, it don't matter because I learned this, and I learned this from guys like you too, man. Because you know what's funny about you is there was two referees that I always watched growing up, and it was Lil Nate and you. And I didn't even realize that it was you. When I first met you, I was like, man, that dude looks like that referee from WCW that I used to watch. Mm-hmm. I ain't going to say nothing, but man, he looks just like his ass. And then I asked Scott Lee, who's the one who told me. I was like, man, that redhead dude that's be coming to work y'all shows, man, he looked like that dude from WCW. Scott started laughing at me. He was like, that is that dude from WCW. I was like, right. You, man, that's whatever, man. Stop playing with me, man. You ribbing me. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, it is. But you carry yourself in you never make anybody feel like they're down here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You always... You're one of the boys, man, and I was always grateful for you, man, because you helped me so much.
Yeah, I respect people, and anybody gets in that ring, guys, girls. If you got the heart to get in there, I respect you for that. And then, if you're a good person, I see that. I treat you the way I'd want to be treated. I've never had an ego when it came to this. I mean. You know how you said earlier we had that ego stage? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, probably. But what I'm saying is I never had ego in the locker room towards other people. I mean, I thought, hey, I'm the shit, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the top dog referee because I got a WCW deal, right? but I never took it to the level where I acted like I was uppity. You know, I'm just an everyday dude that got an opportunity, got to live his dream, and I'm still an everyday dude as we're talking now. And I would not have it any other way. I'm no better than anybody else. I put on my pants one leg at a time. Unless I heard Mike may jump into his, but you know what I'm saying, bro. I'm just a normal dude that got to live his dream.
Absolutely.
And I'm still a normal dude. Every time I step foot in the ring still, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the show, what promoter it is. If I agree to put in a show and work for you, I'm going to get what of. And that I feel like I can't get this business, that'll be the day I actually hang it up finally. I've before years ago. That's why I'm there. I actually retired before I moved. I got in it with because I knew Drake, Tommy Booth.
Yeah.
And Tom
I
got
love
me in
Drake.
with Jimmy Love. And then got in with got in Jimmy Love. And then I met Steve and just kept tripping. I went to Braley, Preston, Victoria area. I don't know if you know him.
What'd you say? Preston?
Preston. Yeah. Do you know him?
I think so. I'm familiar with that name.
He teamed with CW for a while, for a few years.
Anderson? CW Anderson?
Yeah, he teamed with him. Yeah. His tag partner.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
But, okay. You know, I met all these guys up there, and I got to work all this time. I loved it. And, you know, even as of a week and a half ago, I did a show down here. You know, I all the time, but I'm here and I'm having a good time. Two things are taking me away. Or I totally hate it. I got to go to wrestling, and then I'll sway. You know? But right now, I'm in a good mood. I'm enjoying doing, and I enjoy back to the hopefully the next generation, and hopefully they take some things and other guys and use it, come and keep the tradition of wrestling alive, because that's what it's about. Affection alive with this business. You know, that's my goal, bro. That's my whole goal, right there. But I believe guys like you and the CW Anderson still working, seemingly, and other guys up that way. Guys, they run a nice little ship. I believe we can keep the dream alive. And there's down to everybody about it. But you know what I'm saying. We got to have them groups like that and guys that care to keep it alive, because independent wrestling is the foundation of everything that anybody does.
Absolutely.
So,
independent wrestling.
That's
definitely,
it, man.
It saved my life, to be honest with you, man. Like, because my background, man, I grew up in the hood. God knows where that would have took me. You know what I'm saying? My brothers was into that lifestyle. Some of them had to do some time. Some of them had to deal with getting shot. Thank God that they're still here. But you know what I'm saying? I was wilder, or if not wilder, I was just as wild as the rest of them. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's hard to tell where I would have ended up if it wouldn't have been for wrestling. And we was talking about egos, man. Back to Caleb Conley, this is the story I was going to tell you about him. He's what really checked my ego. Like, because we all know, I'm sure you guys both know, that there's levels to professional wrestling. Like, even levels to independent professional wrestling. Like, so Caleb was doing his run in Impact Wrestling as Caleb with a K. And he had come down to this promotion in North Carolina called WCEW. You know what I mean? It was like an extreme playoff of the big 3-letter ECW, but we did like hardcore stuff sometime. But like he come down in there to work with me, and I was running late or something one day, and you could tell Caleb was just not in the mood to deal with my crap or the greenhorns, or you know what I'm saying? Like he just got off his flight. He was tired. I was late. He wasn't really happy to do what he had to do, but he did what he had to do, and he did it very professionally. You know what I'm saying? So I get there late, and we have this man. Caleb gets on the microphone, and he just destroys me on the mic. Well, it's my turn on the microphone, and I hang with him. You know what I'm saying? I could tell like he wasn't really in the best mood, and you know what I'm trying to say without,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I could just tell that he was not in a good mood, and he let me have it on the microphone. So I get on the microphone, and I'm like, you know what? I might have got you in a sour mood, but it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. And I'm going to show you that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't wasting your time here. This is my house. You know what I'm saying? So he gave me that nod like, okay, well, you could talk. Well, let's see if you could back it up in the ring. You know what I mean? So we get through the match, and I'm not really up to his level at all. And I could tell he's being so patient, and he's working so professionally with me. But I could see he's getting a little frustrated. You know what I mean? So we get through the match. I'm thinking, damn, I just had a hell of a match with Caleb Conley. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all excited. We get to the back. He was just like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't it. And it upset me. I was like, this guy's being a jerk. I don't know what in the world's going on. And I get about halfway home, and it clicks what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not only was I late, not only did I not, you know what I'm saying, present myself in the best manner, not only did I not, you know what I'm saying, there was many mistakes that I made. I didn't look the part. I wasn't with it. You know what I'm saying? I did what I thought I was. My ego was making me feel like I was bigger than I was, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I realized why Caleb was like, you know what I'm saying? He showed me that day when I went back and watched the match why he was on TV and I wasn't.
Right.
And that humbled me. And I just want to say, if Caleb ever sees anything about what I say about him or watches this, Caleb Conley, thank you, man, because you showed me that day that, you know, just because you get over in a couple of towns don't mean jack. You know, you still got to work hard and earn it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you're right about that. And, you know, you've done quite a bit of traveling too. You know, we talked about that earlier. You've been to West Virginia, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Virginia, of course, where you're from. Were there any other states? Am I missing any?
I've been to Illinois. I went to Ohio. I wrestled in Pennsylvania. Trying to think. I'm sure there's something else, but you could, if any, from up top in New Haven, West Virginia, and every town through by Rock Hill, South Carolina, I've probably wrestled in every town in between.
Let me ask you this. Since we were talking about, you know, probably my first year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was, I was with Stallion, solely with him before I moved out to do other indies. I hit, like I said, I made a joke about hitting all these armories in the Carolinas, right? Now, have you been wrestled in a lot of armories as well? Or you know what I'm saying?
I'm just like you. Every armory you could think of, Yellow Man has wrestled in. The Elkin Armory, the one that you was talking about earlier, been there many, many times. A guy named Major Havoc used to run there. AIWF affiliate. He was Jody Rushbrook was his name. He used to run a show called Empire.
Okay. There's another guy that ran up there. Eldon Spear. Did you ever work for him?
I'm not sure. What was the name of his promotion?
He was a NWA Carolina affiliate. The reason you brought up Elkin, my last show in the Carolinas before I moved to Florida for WWE was for him, and it was Mike DiBiase, not Ted DiBiase Jr., but Mike. His brother Mike used to work too. Against, oh God, he's very well known, man. I want to say I'm right about this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Damian Wayne of Virginia.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I love Damian Wayne.
Yeah, I think
He's another one of those vets that helped me out a lot, man.
Yeah. He's still around, isn't he, or no?
Yeah, I think so. The last I seen him, he was kind of like backing out a little bit, but when that dude, he laces up, he's one of the best.
Yeah. And you mentioned Rick Converse earlier, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's the CWF guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
is he still around, or is he retired?
I'm not sure, but I would love to work with Rick Converse, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, and all them guys in Burlington. Hey, if you see this, hey, we need a Rick Converse match.
Hey, maybe on the behalf of our podcast here, we can book that match. I know Mike would love to book some wrestling shows. So, am I right about that, Mike?
Yeah, I'll book it right now.
There we go.
We got a referee and everything. We got the referee and everything. The match is official.
That's right.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah,
I swear it would.
I'm telling you, it's some of my best times, dude, and I ain't gonna lie, was on the indies, and still are, because even a well-produced indie show, right, at the end of the day, can be as top-notch and as more entertaining than anything you see on television today. And that's the God's honest truth. And you'll have more fun, and especially if you have cool locker rooms, man, it's just the best time of your life, right?
Yeah.
You make all this family, all these friends become your family, and you travel. Sometimes you travel together, but there are a lot of nights where you're traveling by yourself. And people say, well, do you get lonely? No.
Nah.
I'll tell you why. Because on that drive to and from them shows, you clear your mind to get there. You get there, you're all ready, you're excited. You talk to everybody while you're there. You have a good time. You take that nice little journey home. You listen to your music or whatever we do. And by the time you get home, if you had a great night, you're like, man, I had a really good time. I can't wait to do this over again, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, the road trips, whether you're with somebody or you're by yourself, I always enjoyed it, because there's been a few times in my life I had to drive 7 or 8 hours to an indie show and come right back right after by myself. I didn't know how I made it, because you'd be wanting to fall asleep in the middle of the night. Thank God they started putting them things on the side of the road that
right,
maybe waking you up. But I wouldn't change any of that for the world, my man. The business has been good to me. There's been times where you get angry at it. You're like, man, why ain't this happening or that happening? But we go through our roller coaster ride of life with that, as well as we do outside in our personal lives. And you just got to try to hold it together while you're in the business, just like you'd hold your personal life together.
Oh, yeah.
And, the same guy you get when you saw me at shows, and the same guy that people hear me on here, is the same guy that everybody gets me in life. I never change for nobody. I'm the same dude everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be in the wrestling business. I don't change for anybody. And if somebody doesn't like me, they just don't like me.
I've never heard a bad word about you, brother.
Yeah, well, let's see if John Laurinaitis is out there somewhere.
Johnny Ace.
Yeah, Johnny Ace. John Laurinaitis. I tell you about Johnny. I thought when he came in the WCW, I thought he was a good dude. And we got along, good there. And he actually was real high on me, and he loved my look, because I was still 21, 22 in that range. Real young looking kid, had full red hair, and he loved the look for TV. And I go try to get in years later to WWE, and he's giving me all these hard times, and no pun intended to the Dusty promo, one of my favorite of all times. But I always say that, don't I, Mike? I know. But you know, I'm sitting here going, this guy's being a jerk, right? And I know he's top rung at WWE compared to WCW. You know, he's like the head guy under Vince now, right? He took Jim Ross's position. But it was so hard to get into the business at this point for me, and I struggled and struggled. Finally, I emailed. I'll tell you how I got back in WWE real quick, and I'll make it a quick story because, you know, I'm trying not to make this podcast all about me this week. So basically what happened, I emailed Steve Kern in Florida Championship Wrestling down here in Tampa. And I'm like, I want an opportunity with the WWE. Is there any way I can come down there and show you guys that I still can go and, you know, get that opportunity? I want to earn it like always, right? So he's like, yeah, if you come down to Tampa, we'll take a look at you. So I plan a weekend to Florida, and I work in Newport Richey, Florida, just about 30 minutes up the road from here. And I go to this building. I get there early before any of the guys show up that are contracted. The ring ain't even up yet. When the ring gets there, you know, I've already talked to Dr. Tom and Steve, and they're like, go help them put up the ring. So I'm putting up the ring like I'm part of the crew already. So then after that, Tom's like, we got you 2 matches tonight. I'm going to put you in a tag. I'm going to put you in a singles. We're going to take a look at you. So they film all their shows. FCW did. You know, NXT is a whole different beast now. It's not even, I don't know if they tape their road shows or not. They got TV, you know. But at this point, we had nothing. It was just filming house shows, right? So they filmed the show. I go to thank Tom. He's like, great, Gary, thank you. I enjoyed it. You did a good job, blah, blah, blah. I went and thanked Steve, and I'm like, is there anything you think I can work on, Steve? Steve's like, nope, everything was good. You did great. This tape will go back to them. They'll see it. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate you having me, blah, blah, blah. So I left there with high hopes. Well, I didn't hear anything for about 2 months. It was October when I went down. It was December when I actually got the call. And I told this a couple weeks ago. Mike remember this. And how I got the call was from, I can't remember the guy's name called. He don't work there no more. But he gave me a call, and he's like, what do you feel? What do you want out of this? What do you want out of us? What do you want out of the WWE? What do you expect from us? And he kept saying stuff like that, right? And I'm like, dude, I said, I'll tell you what I want. I want a job. I just don't want an opportunity to come in. I want a job.
Right.
He goes, okay, well, give me a big Ric Flair woo. I'm like, what? He goes, give me a big Ric Flair woo. And I'm telling you, I'm like the second man in charge of a produce department at Food Line down in Huntersville, North Carolina. And I'm sitting there going, well, everybody's going to hear this, but okay. I'll give him a big Ric Flair woo, right? Next thing I know, he goes, congratulations, you're getting signed. We're sending it to you in the mail.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, that was 2007. Yeah, that's been a long time ago, too. I don't know how they work things now, but, you know, I actually called and asked for my opportunity and went to Florida, drove from Charlotte to Florida to do it. They did give me some tryouts in between again at TV. I didn't mention that. Charlotte and Roanoke. Roanoke was actually one of them, the SmackDown taping that year. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, I made that opportunity. That's what I'm trying to get at too. You got to sometimes make your opportunities because you got to let people know you're interested. You got to ask for something, right?
Right.
Ask and you shall receive is an old quote. Well, sometimes it's not true. It don't seem like it. But if you keep asking, you're going to get the opportunity, I would think, you know, if you're good, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell the kids. I tell everybody that, man. You got to let people know you're interested. And if you're not working this weekend at an indie show, I know you are. I'm talking to the general mass out there now. Let's listen to this. Email a promoter. Tell them you want work. Sometimes you got to make your own work. You just can't post a video and say, oh, I'm going to get hired next week because they're going to think I'm great. They don't care about that. You got to let people know you're interested. So
absolutely.
That's the word of message to the young talent out there. Just let people know you're interested at all times, you know? Another
thing I learned from guys like you too, man, especially you, man, you really helped me with this one, is to make every stage as if it was the big stage. Make your platforms larger than life. So when you get there, if the opportunity does present itself, you're already ready. You know what I'm saying? Treat every stage like it's like you're walking that aisle down WrestleMania. You know,
Yeah,
whether it's in front of 10, whether it's in front of 10,000.
that
You
is
know,
correct.
you've helped me with that a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you're in front of 50 people or 500 or 50,000, you should treat the fans all the same because they all spent their hard-earned money to look at you, and
Mhm.
that's just the way of it, you know. And another thing, you know, me and Mike are real big on independent wrestling as well because ticket prices are more affordable for families. You take somebody to a WWE show, a lot of families can't. A family of 5 can't afford to go no more, but they
Right.
can afford to go to Montville and watch a show like that. That's going to give you some fun and entertainment at the same time, but you're not
Hmm.
breaking the bank or taking out a mortgage just to go see it. So
Right.
yeah. So I always put my independence over because that's the foundation and that's where your next stars come from. And that's the only way it is because we don't have territory no more. If we had territories and this say Vince was the big dog and you still had this say AEW is the new WCW or whatever, but you still had territories like
Hmm.
small ones, but you don't. It's all independents. So
Right.
independents are our new territories and we got to treat them such the same,
Absolutely.
you know. So, but you know, like I said, Virginia was great. You know, I really was happy. I moved back there for 7 years. That's how long I was there. I made really good friends back up there. Met a lot of good talent on the wrestling scene as well. Man, it was a good time, but it was time to move on. And I came back to Florida, and you know, we'll see what happens now. But I think every chapter of your life is for a reason, and that was a chapter of my life that had to happen. And now I'm in another chapter, and we'll see what happens. But
That's awesome, man. That is
but
definitely awesome.
but I am happy to see you still doing your thing. Now, another thing we did not touch on yet, Bobby, and we need to talk about is your music. Because
Oh man.
if we don't talk about your music today, I feel like we're doing an injustice to you because you're a performer, right? You're a performer in the wrestling ring. You're just an all around performer. You do music as well. We need to let the people know about your music and how they can listen to it. If it's on Spotify, do you have it out there? What songs? You wrote one about Boogie, right?
Oh yeah. I'll start off with that. So me and Boogie got this record together called Boogeyman Drip. You know, it's about, you know, how the Atlanta rappers did Ric Flair drip. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was I took a couple of the students at camp. That's one thing too about camp is you can learn any and everything at camp. We do music, we do commentary, we do ref, we a little bit of acting here and there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we teach social skills, life skills, everything we teach at Boogie's camp. So what I did was with the first album, it's called Valiant, and you can check it out. And just like the rest of the music, all of the music that I put out, it's on every major streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. You know the deal. Um, I went to camp and I sat in my office because I got an office right beside the main thing. I'm one of the Me and my buddy Big H, we're producers of Wrestling Live from BWC. We actually do a show there for the students. And you know, I heard this Ric Flair drip song and it was getting really popular. I was like, you know what? I don't even think Ric Flair likes rap, but I know who does. The Boogie Woogie man, Jimmy Valiant. He likes everything. He loves all kind of music. And man, and that's me and Boogie's thing is we'll sit back and we'll talk about old gangster films and music and we don't even talk about wrestling. And we really never have,
Yeah.
except for when he was training me. So I was like, you know, we're gonna do an album. And so I told him about it. I was like, you know, what if I take some of the students and see what they know about music? So I found that we had drummers and guitarists and all kind of stuff at camp. Like my boy Stash, he played in a band. Shout out to Stash. My boy Phoenix played in a band. My boy Rev, he does piano and he's in church and choir and dance and stuff. So we put together a demo album called Valiant. Papa's cutting the promos on there. We got the record called Boogeyman Drip featuring
Okay.
Papa. I got a record called Valiant on there, on following the album name,
Yeah.
featuring Papa, cutting promos on there with us and stuff. And man, we just have so much fun together as a family and a unit at Boogie's. So man, it's so much talent there. We got that album out. That's what me and all of the students at Boogie's Wrestling Camp. And then I have a series of albums called The Rec League Wrestler. And that's when I was growing up, I was a small kid and I thrived in rec league sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
My dad was a coach, and I kind of compare indies to, like, that's our version of rec league. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're on a higher scale. We're almost semi-pro, but there's you don't got semi-pro in wrestling. It's just pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I like to rib myself and call myself the rec league wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So I got a series of albums called that. We got songs featuring Exhibit. Remember Exhibit, X to the Z from Pimp My Ride?
Yeah.
We got songs featuring hip hop legend Exhibit, Dizzy Wright from Funk Volume, Ritz from Strange Music with Tech Nine and those guys. And I got a record featuring Young Buck, former G Unit member, hip hop legend. And that's on the Rec League Wrestler Saga. There's 3 of them featuring the Black Dragon Clique. Those guys are wrestlers too. Shout out to Twin Killer. His wrestling name Zayden Kane. Check him out too. He's a big deal in the Ohio and Tri-States area up there. You know what I'm saying? Like West Virginia, Tennessee. That guy goes all over the place. And he does records with me. Guys, y'all can look him up. Chris Parker is his name on Facebook and stuff like that. Hell of a talent. He could do it all. You know what I'm saying? That's the Rec League Wrestler Saga. We got an album coming out this month, January 30th, the final Rec League Wrestler album, featuring my main man, Michion, CEO of POW Records, and Mr. Perry, man, also co-founder and CEO of POW Records. And Mr. Perry, man, he doesn't really do records like we do. He's kind of in the church and he's a pastor and stuff like that. So we clean up our lyrics a little bit when we were Mr. Perry, man.
Right.
But it's so much talent with those guys, man. Michion, hey, believe it or not, Yellow Man just started me a podcast as well. So
is it Talk and Shoot?
Talk and Shoot with Yellow Man.
Good deal. Yeah, man. I see you had John Heartbreak on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I listened to a clip of it. You two apparently worked each other years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Was that down in the Carolinas as well, or just Virginia?
Yeah, that was at a company called HCWA, Heritage Championship Wrestling Alliance.
Okay.
That was ran by Robbie Stanley.
Robbie, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Robbie. I remember, before we move on though, how can everybody look up your music to listen to all of it? Like, is it under Yellow? What should they look for? You
could check out Yellow Man on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Yellow Man Topic, I think that's the channel. But man, there's 3-4 albums on there. There's one dropping on the 30th. Be sure to check it out on all the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, etc. YouTube. You already know how it is, man.
Yes.
It's probably on 50 different streaming platforms, to be honest with you.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you can check it out.
Yeah.
We got new stuff coming. I'm actually going to drop a music video either later on today or tomorrow for our new record me and Michion got coming out. It's called Hennessy. It was about my addiction with alcohol and how I struggled with alcoholism, and you know, I overcame that finally. So
I had no idea you had that going on.
A lot of people didn't know that because man, a lot of times you see me, I was 3 sheets in the wind.
Yeah. Wow.
When you battle demons, man, you could really hide that really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I understand why a lot of people probably wouldn't know. If you're like me, you try to keep a lot of personal stuff personal.
Absolutely.
It's just the way it is, Um, hell, I mean, there's been cases where not me, but I've had friends that they had a lot of stuff going on. I had no idea. And you're oblivious to the whole thing. You're friends with these people and you're oblivious to their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the end of the day, you feel bad later, but why are we all oblivious? Who knows? But it is that way, right? Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to hear you overcame that, dude. Because that is a big struggle, and that's took down a lot of guys in our profession down the wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had either terrible lives or maybe some of them not even here because of drugs, alcohol, and other things, right? So
Yeah,
I'm glad
man.
to hear that you're doing better, my dude. But I had no idea.
Yeah, man. It was destroying my marriage. It was destroying my body. My mental health was falling apart. I was dealing like I've lost brothers to drugs and alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I lost a lot of people that lived that lifestyle, and I was losing myself, and I was losing my marriage, and I was tearing up my body, and it was just time. I thought, man, I got two. You know me, I love gingers, man. I got a whole ginger family. I got two little red-haired girls, man.
Yeah.
It's my world, and I just want to be there for them, and do the right thing by my family. That's what's most important to me. You know what
Sure.
I mean?
Absolutely. And it's glad that you realize that, dude, because a lot of guys don't.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just keeps going spiraling out of control. And next thing you know, bam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for you, dude. I always have been. I always liked seeing you at shows. I wish I'd have done more shows while I lived in Virginia, but I was only in it really part time, I guess you call it.
Right.
But I enjoyed the time that I got to enjoy with guys, and I mean, never say never. I'll be back in Virginia. I'll visit, see friends, maybe do some shows while I'm in town or something. Stay a week. Not sure when at this point, but I know I'll be back visiting, and because I'm originally from that area myself, and it's I got a few family members left, and I got a lot of friends. So,
hey,
yeah.
my door's always open, man. You and your wife can come kick it with us. Yellow Man's also a chef. I'll whip y'all up something nice, man.
You hear that, Mike?
I might have to come over on that one myself.
Hey, Mike, you can come too, bro.
I'll be there.
Yeah, bro. Well, actually, we live close together, man. We ought to get up soon,
Oh, we can.
Big old Mike. Mike's a good dude, man. Me and Mike, backstory of me and Mike real quick. You know how we met was through work. I started, when I moved to Virginia, I had to find a job, right? So I went to a place called U.S. Foods. I was going to be what they call a overnight selector. You drive these damn forklifts around, standing forklifts, right? I just turned 40 years old, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing a young man's job for, right? So I quit there, and I'm like, I'm just going to do some kind of retail right now. I didn't know what to do in Roanoke. Mm-hmm. So I went to what they call the Bonsack area. I worked at the Bonsack Walmart. I ended up becoming auto center lead over there, running that place, and did that for almost 6 years. And then I did a lead as a stocking manager. So that's what I was doing in Roanoke as my shoot job, right?
Mm.
And Mike was a lead there, other parts of the store at times. And we just started talking about wrestling one day. And because Little Ricky, we call him Little Ricky. He's like 5'3". He's a big wrestling fan, TNA fan. And this is a story about Ricky. But anyway, me and Mike met because of Ricky talking about wrestling one day. And then Mike's a wrestling fan. And then we became the best of friends. Long story short, right? So Little Ricky comes up to me in the stock room one day. And I'm just unloading a pallet. And he goes, "You look very familiar." I'm like, I do? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Where am I from?" I said, I'm from here." He goes, "Have you ever been in Orlando?" And I go, Yeah. Universal Studios? I'm like, yes. Do you like wrestling? I'm like, yes. I'm like, why is that the question? He goes, I'll go, yeah, Ricky, I work for TNA. He goes, I thought it was you. And then Ricky told everybody in the whole damn store that I was a former TNA referee and all this. But Ricky's a good dude. Me and Mike actually went to his wedding a few years later. During COVID, I may add. We were wearing masks, outside wedding. It was really weird. But Ricky's a good dude. And he's the first one that found out about it, and he went and told everybody. So some people thought it was cool, you know, if they get it. And then some people think, one of them wrestling people, that crap, you know, you get it all the time. We all get it. But you know, I had a fun time up there. Mike was one of my best friends and run up during the whole time I was there. When my mother passed, he was one of the only ones that would constantly make sure I was fine, because I was not fine.
Right.
Only people that knew I was not fine was probably my wife and Mike. It's just because we talked every day at work. That's the only reason he knew. Other than that, he probably wouldn't even have known. Just my wife would have known, right? But good dude, always been there for me. And here we are doing a podcast. So, and our first guest is Yellow Man, one of the most important people in the Virginia, West Virginia, Carolina scene. So, I said, Mike's like, well, who's going to be our first guest, right? He kept asking me, who's going to be our first guest? And I'm like, I want to bring on this guy, Yellow Man.
I'm the first guest?
Yes. You're the first guest.
Man.
We've just been, me and him, dialoguing about current stuff, right? And then dialoguing about what I did. We never brought on nobody yet until this podcast, January 2026. So it's hit a milestone today, because you're the first guest on our podcast that we've ever had. It's always just been me and Mike. Or originally, my wife started out with me, and she kind of was like, if you got somebody else interested, you know, maybe you should take them. You know. I'm like, okay. So Mike, me and Mike always joke. Mike's like, when are you going to fire your wife and give me the job? So it finally happened.
Yeah. So he started in automotive. I was up in hardware.
That's right.
So we'll be over there, and we'll go over there and do the 2-sweet hand gesture to each other.
Yeah.
And then somehow I got moved to stationary. And it's a good distance between the two. And we'll be looking at each other, and I'll just go over there. It's like, suck it, and everything. Back and forth through everybody.
Yeah. And what about zone time? During zone time, at the song Sweet Caroline come on, we'd sing.
Yeah. They had to separate us because I don't think they liked us together.
Yeah, the store manager hated us together because we'd always be talking. And she'd always like, I heard her behind her back, separate them two. I'm like, what are we in grade school? Look,
they separated us, and then like 5 minutes later, we'll go right back to each other.
Yeah, I think she finally realized to leave us alone, and she did. She never said much. But you know, that was some good stuff, man. And the COVID era was just atrocious. Going to work every day. Man, if anybody had to live that, which a lot of people did, I feel sorry for you, because I feel sorry for myself. I hated that era even happened. It was just really weird. You know, you're wearing a mask every day to work, and you know,
it brought the worst out of people.
Yeah,
it really did.
Yeah, Mike's wanting to fight with other associates. I have to go break it up.
I didn't want to fight with them. I think they wanted to fight with me. I was like, well, since we got a referee, might as well. You told
me you was gonna whip his tail that day, so I had to go put a stop to it.
Okay, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, of course it wasn't.
So been there early in the morning, had to wear a mask all day, so I took it down just for a second. He just comes in with a dirty mask that he hasn't changed in like probably all year. Had it like cut on the sides and like tied it around back so he could breathe. And then he starts fussing that I wasn't wearing mine the right way.
Oh man,
I was like, I told him to shut up and get out of my face.
Yeah, man.
You know, during that whole time, only one lady only gave me crap, and man, you could have seen the steam coming out of my ears. I was trying to bite my tongue because I mean, I'm not gonna. She was standing there with her husband, so I was giving him the look like I'm not gonna argue with your wife, but I think it's time that you get her on up out my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just did what she asked me to do because she was an older lady.
Yeah.
But we're outside, and she's like, "You need to put on your." I'm like, I bit my tongue, and I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And I gave her husband this look like, "Oh, you know."
Yeah. It was
And they
crazy,
left
man.
me alone.
I don't think people were thinking during them times.
Mm-mm.
And they were thinking, when they were thinking, everybody was just negative, and it was just causing problems, mass confusion at places, stores, and you couldn't go nowhere without everybody just being in a bad mood. So it was a bad time for America.
Yeah.
You know, especially for America. I know it probably happened in other places, but I know here, and especially in the area we were living in, it was horrible. And I'm just glad them times are over. We're back to free in the public, and we can do things.
I'm
And-
sure you two see this, but I'm sure that's like that affected what's going on now and why people are still acting a fool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how any of us that are sane are surviving ourselves, because we should be insane with everybody else. That's crazy already. You know, it's just really weird. Yeah. But while we're on the subject of COVID, right? The COVID era, as I call it, wrestling on the indie scene, did it take because I stopped working around that time again. I got back in it in 2019, but stopped again when COVID happened. Did you do many shows during a few months there, or what happened?
Oh, absolutely. I never quit. The fans didn't quit coming out either.
Okay.
Like there was places where you had to follow the rules or whatever. Like you had to set so far apart, and we had to have limited seating and stuff like that. But there was places like Tennessee that was wide open, brother. And I mean, we were wrestling in front of packed houses. We probably shouldn't have been, but we were wrestling in front of packed houses. I think, to be honest with you, like that's where I kind of elevated a little bit, because before the COVID era, I was still like plateauing. And when COVID happened, everybody else stayed inside and I was outside. So I was the guy, I was the entertainment for everybody. So
Yeah.
I kind of like elevated during the COVID era. Like I know even the big companies were wrestling in front of nobody, but Yellow Man was wrestling in front of packed houses. I wish, and I hope everybody followed procedures and stuff like they were supposed to. But I actually held my first live event as a promoter during the COVID, and we had a packed house, but I had everybody sign waivers and follow the procedures, and I still got all those waivers. You know.
Where'd you do that at?
Down at the Lucha Dome in Burlington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So
I got my feet wet in that a little bit too. You know?
I noticed Tennessee was probably one of the more lenient states, because we did take a trip to Pigeon Forge in August of 20, and you could go out everywhere there. I like that. But, because here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, what the media was saying, but I also had in the back of my head that most of us are healthy human beings. And if we can fight off the flu, we could probably fight off that. Right.
Right.
So just to let everybody out there know, and that's going to be a lot of, Mike, you know how we get our bad emails from anonymous people all the time. I'm going to get one on this. I did not get the COVID shot.
Not me either.
I told work no. And I had people telling me at work that were over me, because I was on the lower rung management, I call it, tell me that I was stupid. And I'm like, well, I think you're stupid for getting it. And I'd walk off. And they couldn't do nothing to me.
Yeah, they were trying to give us money. Like
they were trying to pay us to take
first
it.
Time,
yeah.
And then, $150 the second time?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And we turned it down.
Yep.
I didn't take it either.
Yeah.
I had family members throw me out of their house like, oh, you didn't. I'm just like, man, I don't believe that crap.
Yeah.
I live in a world of gimmicks. You can't sell me, kid.
Yeah, you can't work me.
Right.
That's right, man. That was some weird times, though, man. That's good to hear that you guys, because like I said, I was out of the loop at this point, and I know around our immediate area in Virginia, I didn't see many shows going on. But it's good to hear that there were shows going on and people were still being able to make a dime. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So
I'm telling you,
that's
I
wonderful.
killed it, bro. I had so much fun during COVID because I was outside by myself. I was just carrying on in the back. I went down to Gatlinburg and got married.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, I think it was June of 2020 that we went down there and got married. It was just me, my wife, my oldest daughter, my best friend, Corey Page, and her grandparents. That's the only people that came. And we were down there. I was wide open down there, man. I like to go in. Like I said, I'm not really a political person, but I like to mess with people or whatever. I went in the Trump store and got me a shirt and was walking around, and people were doing they were turning all the way in circles looking at me like, I don't believe in that crap. I think it's just like WWE. I think it's all the work, and you know what I'm saying? So politics ain't for me, but it's funny to see people's reaction when I do stuff like that.
They get bent out of shape so easy. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So, speaking of, if you have any, we all have had differences with guys in our business.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told a few stories on here about not real big problems, but like little situations, maybe in the ring or outside the ring. If you have anybody in the business now, tell me this. Over the years you've been in it, anybody in the business that, let's say you even still have to maybe work a show with them, but maybe y'all do not like each other and it's widely known.
There's
pretty much just good all the way around.
Well, for the most part, yes, I'm pretty good all the way around. But there's this one guy that I just don't like, and I probably never will like, because I'll give you a little story about him before I tell you who he is. We was down at AIWF Mid Atlantic. It was a 420 show, and everybody has this impression of me like I'm a pothead or something. Mm-hmm. And I ain't gonna lie, I smoke, especially now that it's legal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't make it. It's not who I am. I don't. Oh man, I just gotta have this, that. No, it's mainly for pain and anxiety because I refuse to take the pills and stuff like that. So, and now I'm an adult, so I don't just do it for the hell of it. I just do it when it's time for bed or when I'm hurting or stuff like that. But like this was about 2013, I believe it was. So I was a different person back then, but I wasn't really a pothead. I was more likely to sell you some. You know what I mean? And that's just the person that I used to be. And like I was more for money than anything. I would sell you anything. Yeah. It doesn't mean that it was the right thing to do, but that's just where I came from. Yeah. And I was down there working this show on 420. I'll never forget it. I was gonna leave and I was gonna go and do the 420 thing with my buddies. Yeah, I was. But I was already pissed because I didn't get a chance to get my smoke or whatever we were going to do after the show. I didn't get any. And we get to the show and all I have is this Black & Mild and I'm trying to get in my zone. I'm outside smoking a Black & Mild and this guy that I'm supposed to wrestle, he didn't show up because it was the AIWF World Title Tournament and the Mid-Atlantic. That's what it was. The title was vacant. They were doing a world title tournament right in Mount Airy, and it was a 420 show. So I get there. Only thing I had all day was a cup of coffee and this Black & Mild cigar. So my opponent didn't show up, and I'm outside smoking this cigar. Well, this guy walks in that I know from running. You probably know him, a guy named Jason Blade. He used to team with Adam Page. They were the Star City Bombers.
I do not know
VA
Jason.
Bombers. VA Bombers. That's
I know
he used
Adam Page, but
he used to be Adam Page's tag team partner, the VA Bombers, and his name is Jason Blade. And I hope he watches this because I really want him to know. I was out there smoking that cigar, and he walked past me, and he goes right over to the promoter, and he tells him that I'm out there smoking pot. So the promoter, I think he was busy or something, and he didn't really get what he didn't really hear what he said or whatever.
yeah.
So they put me in a match with him. After my opponent didn't show up, I end up in this match with this guy. And mind you, at the time, I'm only 5'6", but at the time I was only about 130 pounds. And this guy's at least 5'10", going on 200.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to do this spot where, well, he's in the back telling me that he's going to give me a hurricanrana. And I'm like, I'm the small guy. I'm just thinking this. I'm not saying nothing because he's the veteran and he's already being a jerk to me. And I'm trying not to let my street side come out because, again, I was a different person back then, you know. So I'm just trying to eat crap and love the taste of it because that's what you got to do when you first start out. And I'm just letting this guy just give me the ringer. And we get out in the match, and it's probably the worst match I've ever had. And this guy goes up to do this hurricanrana, and dog, you're about 200 pounds, and I'm 130 pounds. And I'm very green. I didn't know what in the world he was doing. So we just kind of go down and roll. It didn't look terrible, but it didn't look the best.
Mm-hmm.
And we get through the match or whatever, horrible. I knew it was bad. He knew it was bad. And we get to the back, and he's over there at the promoter again. He doesn't say anything to me, but he goes over there to the promoter again when I get my stuff on and go, and tells him I'm out there. The match was horrible or something because I was out there smoking pot and I was a drug addict and all of this shit. And it kind of got me thrown out of the AIWF. So that guy, Jason Blade, I've had heat with him I haven't seen him since. I don't think he wrestles anymore. Actually, I lied. I did see him one time at a Pure Pro Wrestling show. And I ain't going to lie. I was going to his ass. But before I got a check, I had to go out there when I caught a glimpse of him. And I had to go out there for my match or whatever. But by the time I got back, he was gone. And I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that he ran because he was scared of me or nothing like that. I don't even think he remembers enough to care about this situation. But, man, he was so rude and cruel to me, and I never forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
I hold that grudge to this day, and I don't hold grudges against anybody.
Right.
But that guy thought he was a bully, and I want to show him, I would love to show him to this day why it's not a good idea to bully people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So what year and what town was that in?
This was 2013 in Mount Airy.
Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, I was already far removed from the Carolina scene. I was down in Florida. I stayed down here the first time 10 years. So when I moved for developmental, you know, and I worked TNA, blah, 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 right? Fast forward, I stayed 10 years. So I wasn't even up there. Wow. Which I wish, you know, if, you know, I lived it that way anyway again, right? I wish I'd have been up there during the earlier years when a lot of you guys started, so I could have helped out a little more than what I did. Because, you know, I love guys that break into business, have a great attitude, that want to learn. That's all I ask of anybody, you know, because that's what I did, you know. And if you need, I always tell them, if you don't know something, ask. You know,
that time was weird, man, because it was like none of the veterans wanted to help the green guys. Like,
yeah,
they would make fun of us and call us trash baggers, and
wow,
they gave me a lot of crap because I was a hip hop guy and I was trying to put over that character, and they was like, you don't have gear and da 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 da. So I just finally got to the point where I got tired of their crap, and I was like, you know, the street came out of me, and I was like, you know what? Like, if we're really men, like if you really want to get into some gangster stuff, we can. But I'm not going anywhere. So if you got a problem with me, how
Mhm.
about helping me instead of,
Right.
trying to bury me, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be a thorn in y'all's damn side for a long time.
Yeah.
Regardless if you help me or not, I will be around.
Right. It's like the same scenario, the guys are set there in a match, they're working somebody, the guy's green, he's new, and they think, "Oh, I'm gonna be a little aggressive with him. I'm gonna chop him a little hard. I'm gonna do this and just beat him up, basically." Well, that doesn't teach anything. It just teaches that you're a jackass at the end of the day. And I've never believed in that. You can't do that.
No.
I mean, one thing is you work a little stiff because that's the way you work, but another thing is taking abuse of your knowledge to a greenhorn and then taking advantage of them. And I've never agreed with that.
I feel like a lot of that too is jealousy, and a lot of those so-called veteran that's been here 20 years, kid. My rebuttal to that is, why are you still here? But a lot of that is they are afraid to lose whatever imaginary spot that they think that they have.
Right.
And they're threatened by the new talent, because these guys are something different now. And these guys are gaining some traction. You know what I'm saying? Like the new, regardless, we're old school, so we probably don't really get into it as much as the fans and stuff do. But this new generation of wrestlers is really making a name for themselves, and they're really killing it on the scene.
Yeah.
So I like to take my old school knowledge now, because some of them consider me a veteran. I've been around 15 years. I like to take the knowledge that I learned from guys like you and Boogie, and I was blessed to be around y'all guys, and give that to them. You know what I'm saying? Teach them, hey, you could do all that cool stuff, but always incorporate the old school, because you never know when you're going to run into a George South or a Style or you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. But, once again, like the Javon kid, right? He's from the Carolinas, isn't he?
Yeah, I actually started
something in the water, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, when I was training, his trainer Kozone was one of the first people to help me. Remember that story I was telling you about Eden?
Yeah.
Well, Kozone, he just had a WWE tryout too. Kozone used to drive from Eden to Roanoke to pick me up for these Friday night Eden shows, and then drive me all the way back home. Before he even started Firestar Pro, I was a pain in his rear end, so I'm sure I got him ready for all of those kids.
Always takes that one guy.
Yeah, man. I wrestled with Javon Evans and Jackson Drake when they were little, man. Right at the Lucha Dome. Those kids were doing all these crazy flips, scaring my wife half to death. She's like, who's these kids out here? I'm like, trust me, those kids are fine. They're going to be stars. You'll see.
Yeah.
And then years later, you know what I mean?
Right.
But COVID, 2020 is when I was wrestling those kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is all this footage that we're talking about?
Yeah.
On
I wrestled me and Ivan Ali from Pure Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We faced Javon Evans and Jackson Drake for the American Lucha Wrestling tag team titles in 2020.
Okay.
We beat them for the American Lucha titles. Big Money Inc. versus the Wrestling Prodigies.
Now, on your YouTube channel, you got one for the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one for your wrestling?
Oh, yeah. It's just the Yellow Man page. It's over. It's over. I think it's about 800 matches on there, I believe.
Okay. Would any of these matches you're talking about in 2020 be on there, you think?
Oh, all of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I try to get everything I can recorded, because if not anything else, it's for the memories, you know.
Yep.
It's
absolutely.
I mean, I probably shouldn't even be a wrestler, bro. I got a titanium rod in my hip. I got a titanium ankle on the same side. I got plates and stuff in my hand, and I'm screwed all up. But when I get out there, man, you can't even tell.
Right. Yeah, because I remember you said something about your back at the Stewart show last year. Worked, and I'm like, would you hurt your back? And then you told me that story about having was it a car accident or something?
I got hit by a car
Okay.
on
Yeah.
Brandon Road.
Wow. Grandin?
Brandon, right off of Grandin. Headed towards Salem.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Yep.
How old were you there when that happened?
I think I was either 15 or 16. Yeah,
Okay.
I broke my femur.
That sucks, dude. I'm glad to
Yeah.
see a lot of people don't walk after a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I had to learn. I taught myself how to walk because, like I said, we're broke, man. We couldn't afford physical therapy and all of that stuff. So, and my mom and them was always at work. So, if I wanted something to eat, I had to hobble my tail in there and teach myself how to walk again and take care of myself, you know?
Yeah. Well, man, damn, you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Even before getting into this crazy business that we're in, because we all know it's crazy. We meet a lot of characters, but the good old boys, I call it, the ones of us that want to succeed and see the business and letting it grow more and pass it down. We understand it, and then that's what we need. We just need to keep that growing, so the new generation, new crop, will continue to happen, and you keep sending them out of that area up there because, like I said earlier, I keep going back to it. Something in water, bro. Because something about going through George South Italian Stallion and the Hardy Boy Group and all that, man. That whole '90s was what started it, and I think after that, just something kept going, you know. And maybe that goes back to having guys like George and Boogie and older type trainers to be able to train these kids, because most of them are the ones making it. The ones going from, especially from like anything George has had his eyes on over the years. We talk back to Tessa Blanchard. He had a hand in that. He helped David Flair early on.
Reed.
Who?
He helped Reed too.
Okay. So, I mean, he's helped quite a few people. And, you know, of course, like I said, I got my start there. Mark Canterbury, Godwin's, he came out of there from the early '90s, right? So, man, cream of the crop in that area. And
hell, Joe Brody was trained by George and Styles.
Yeah, he did tell me that. Yeah. Wow, just amazing to hear all this, you know. But it's really not. I've heard it all before because I grew up in it. But it's still fun to talk about it, you know. It's just a good group of stuff, man. Good group of guys. So I like to tell everyone out there, if you have any questions and we can send them back to Yellow Man, we'll have him on again as a guest. If you send in a bunch of questions, we'll definitely have him back on and hear what you want to ask him. You send them to the email address on the screen at russellref123@gmail.com. Also, real quick, a plug for our sponsor, Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company. Go to cowboyrevolution.com. Use the code JamieT123 for 15% off at checkout. And you can get a cool hat like I was wearing earlier today. It says cowboy hat. And that's the hat I wear to the country clubs. If like Sidewinders back in Roanoke, I'd be wearing my cowboy hat. So
hey, that's fly, bro.
You know where Sidewinders. I know you know about Sidewinders.
Man, I used to go down there and line dance, and hey, that's where me and my brother right here need to go, man. Go down there to Sidewinders, man.
Mike might be into that. Yeah.
I don't drink anymore, but we get us a soda or something like that and go down there and line dance and carry on and have us a good time, man.
Yeah, I don't drink neither, so.
Well, I can't say that, guys.
The hardest thing I drink is the Monsters.
Oh, I wish I had one of them right now.
Oh, this is one of the new ones.
Hey, coffee didn't do anything for me this morning.
Yeah, I'm still sipping mine.
Well, Mike, you got anything else you want to throw out there this podcast for Yellow Man?
Yeah, James has like 500 Mount Rushmores. Like the first couple episodes, there was nothing but Mount Rushmore, and they changed every single time. What is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Well, what's that? That's the 4, right?
Yeah.
4.
Right.
It's gonna be hard.
I gotta give you 2. If that's cool, I gotta give y'all 2.
You can do 2. We'll take it.
2.
Because everybody already knows that it's Jimmy Valiant, Rock and Roll Express, and George. Okay. Everybody already knows that. Like that's that's it. That's the one. That's the main one. But if I had to, out of everybody, I would have to go um, Lance Storm, Sabu, Abdullah the Butcher, and this about to mess you up, and I'm not even just saying this because my buddy, but I'll have to put Jimmy Love on there.
Okay. No, anybody's name's on the list. Doesn't matter who it is. Yeah.
And this is why though, Jimmy Love is because, like, you've heard the term like this guy can work a broomstick.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Love is the definition of that guy that can work a broomstick. I've literally watched him go out there with green guys and throw himself in holds. Like, I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
When Jimmy Love was training me, it was in the ring on the fly. Like, he didn't care whether I was green. He didn't care whether I knew how to do nothing.
Right.
All he said was, shut up, kid, and listen. Most of the time, guys like him and Matt Houston, which I'm going to have on my podcast a little bit later on today, those guys, they call it on the fly. You don't even know the finish. You just got to shut up and listen. And those guys like George and stuff like that too. Like, they don't tell you, they don't even want you in their face because they come from an era where the heels were in one side of the building and the baby faces was over here. And we were lucky if we had a referee like JT right there that knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So that's, Jimmy Love is criminally underrated. He really could have went anywhere he wanted to, but I feel like he was selfless and he wanted to keep wrestling alive in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic for his family and his community. So that's why I put Jimmy Love up there with those great legend names.
That's a fair answer, man. We all have our different interpretations of who should be in their Mountain Rushmores. Also, I always tell people wrestling's subjective. It's a subjective content because you could look at it and go, well, my style of wrestling, I enjoy more of the 1980s Memphis, you know what I'm saying? Or I enjoy Mid-Atlantic. And then you got somebody else over here that goes, well, I enjoy deathmatch wrestling, which I don't, but Mike knows how I feel about that.
I like deathmatch wrestling.
I just don't get it, bro. But anyway, I digress. But everybody, it's subjective, right? And I respect that part, though. I respect everybody's opinion on who they think's great because, whoever's great to me may not be great to you, or you might find a common ground where we agree and, something's great. But I respect everybody's views. And no, in my opinion, no Mount Rushmore from anybody is wrong because it's your opinion. It's the way you see things. And it's just like Mike's Mount Rushmore, my Mount Rushmore are totally off key to each other's. We disagree on a lot of things. I'm a big Bret Hart fan.
Yeah.
Always was. Mike doesn't care so much.
Who else is Mike?
I
don't really care much for Bret Hart.
We agree on one thing, though. Tell them what we agree on, Mike, and we get anonymous emails hating on us.
Chris Benoit needs to be in the WWE Hall of Fame for like his wrestling ability. Not what he did, but
not for what he did, of course. That's hard.
But what he did in the ring, he's one of the best. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and Vince Russo needs to be in the Hall of Fame too.
See, he puts Vince Russo in there, and not just for his writing. Tell him why.
Because he's undefeated at WCW. And he's the real last WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He never got pinned or submitted in WCW.
Vince?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I hear a lot of people hating on Vince Russo, man.
I like him.
Know him personally. What is he like?
Face to face, he was always cool to me, but I never was like friends with him.
Yeah.
But he was always good. I can't say nothing bad about him. Never had any bad interactions with him. So yeah, funny story. Russo was going to throw and when I was in TNA, he was going to do like a young versus older talent type deal, with the younger guys getting a lot of a push over the older guys, right? To push the young youth of the company. So his idea was, I was the newest ref in. I was probably the youngest ref too, because you had Earl Hebner, Slick Johnson, and I can't remember who, Andrew Thomas or somebody still there. But anyway, he was going to use me as the youth movement and have me screw over the older guys. I was going to be like the Earl Hebner of the 2009, 2010, right? Well, Earl told me back at the hotel room, he's like, do it if they do it. Because Earl's the one that told me that's what was going to happen, right? Because me and Earl share a hotel room together. So I'm all excited going, man, I'm going to get this big old fun time on TV. I'm going to be this big referee star, have my own gimmick now. I'm excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing I know, come back to TV in 2 weeks, nothing was mentioned of it, never happened.
Oh, man.
But Earl told me this, man, in the hotel room that night. He's like, if they come to you with it, take it. He says, do it, because everybody will remember that more than any match you've refereed your whole career. They'll remember you being the heel ref. He said, because that's what makes people talk about me first, is the Montreal screw job.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up, oh, yeah, Earl Hebner's referee. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he told me to take it. Earl was like all for it, and it never happened.
Man, that sucks, bro.
Yeah, I would have loved for it to happen, because, you know, that might have been my next big push, and maybe had even a longer career. Or may have hurt it. Who knows? But, you know, at the time, if it seems right, you always do it. But but no, I was all happy about that. But no, Russo, apparently that was Russo's idea, and it never came through. I haven't never asked Russo if that's any truth. I don't see why Earl would lie, because me and him were really tight at one time, and we talked about a lot of things behind closed doors about company stuff and different things, right?
Yeah.
So he was a good dude. Earl treated me good on the road. So yeah, Russo was cool. I never had a problem with Bischoff. I never had a problem with pretty much anybody, except in the very end, me and John Laurinaitis. But a lot of people don't like Johnny. You can ask the whole wrestling community. There's probably out of every 100 people, at least 50, 60% of them people is going to say he's a piece of crap, right? So
I've heard that. That.
So that's probably the only guy, if I had to talk about in this business, that, and I really don't hold anything against him anymore, because time wounds will heal wounds, right? It's old saying. Time wounds will heal wounds. But, you know, it is what it is. But if I had to say,
not for me and Jason Blade.
Apparently not. But, you know, if I had to say there was one person in the business, it would be Johnny. Everybody else, I really can't say too much bad about. So, but, you know, Vince was cool. But no, that's a true fact Mike brought up, and he brought it to my attention one day, and I had to sit back and think about it. Because even though I worked during that time, you forget things. I
definitely agree that he belongs in a Hall of Fame. I definitely agree. And the Benoit situation is kind of touchy for me, because I don't want to believe that he did what he was accused of. I don't want to believe it, but when the evidence is right there in front of you, you know, like, if anything, they need to recognize his career, but induct Woman in the Hall of Fame, I think.
There you go. She deserves it. Nancy deserves it for sure. You know, there's been, and Mike has even told me, and am I right about this, Mike? You've even told me once that you think that someone killed them.
I think so. That's what I think too.
Like, it's stuff online. Like, if you really look into it, I mean, apparently he was on the phone with Chavo, and then all of a sudden, like, he answers the door because of the knock at the door. There was a scuffle, and then it just hangs up, and after that, you only reach him by text message. Mm-hmm. Like, what happened at the door? Like,
right.
Conspiracy theory right there, though. You know, we don't know.
I'd like them to check some evidence. I'd really like for them to review that evidence.
Right.
Well, then, like, on the Wikipedia page, it already had Nancy dead, a couple hours or a couple days or something before she was even dead. And
Yeah, I
then
remember hearing that.
they traced it back to WWE headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, shady sounding. Yeah, absolutely. But if he did do it,
Yeah.
obviously I don't condone that. But when we talk about Chris Benoit, we talk about the things we remember as fans and the
Mhm.
good times and the great matches he gave everybody, and very much Hall of Fame worthy just for that, in our opinions. But
I seen the passion in his eyes, man, and I could tell
Yeah.
that Chris loved his family.
Yeah.
Like again, I don't know what happened at the end. That's not for me to speak on, but you could
Yeah.
just tell he was passionate about what he did, and he was passionate about loving his family. That's the guy that I remember, and I'm
Not-
sure his friends, like they remember that Chris too, when they're all just as shocked as everybody else was.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they blamed a lot of it on concussions and the brain, the way it works. And I'm gonna tell you, when I signed my WWE contract. Right. Not only did they send you to New York within one day, they flew me from Charlotte to Manhattan. Got in a limousine. Literally, a limousine picks me up with a sign and everything. Drives me over to Manhattan from the airport, LaGuardia. I think it was LaGuardia. And I do my running test. Well, basically what that is a stress test on your heart. You have things on your chest and you run on a treadmill. It gets higher in incline. And then you jog, and you get faster for like 7 or 8 minutes. Once it's over, they see how your heart is. They want to make sure your heart's good, right? So they did that. They did a drug test. The car waits on you outside. Literally, I'm not making none of this up. It waits on you while you're in there for about 2 hours. You go down, get back in the car. They drive you straight back to the airport the same day. And you wait at the airport to fly home. I was probably a 12-hour day total. Fly out, do the thing, get back, fly back home. Weird, right? But not only did they do that, after my signing, WrestleMania weekend was in Orlando that year. It was WrestleMania 24, the one Michaels beat Flair and ended his career. So they had a thing the day before on that Saturday at the hotel near the stadium where they had us go in and do this test on a computer where it rates the way you think things. So the whole time, I'm telling you, bro, I even told my wife afterwards, I'm like, pretty sure I'm going to lose my job. They're going to think I'm fucking retarded. But that was the ongoing joke. But they did all that after. This was in 2008, right after the Chris Benoit situation. So they started testing the brain and everything. So it's really, really odd because they're having to think they were blaming a lot of his on it happening, of course, blamed it on his brain. So concussions and all that. So yeah, they checked
That's
this all
scary,
out.
man.
Yeah.
I know as a guy that takes a lot of bumps, and I'm familiar with the hardcore world of wrestling and like the chair shots and stuff like that. Man, I forget. I'll set down my cell phone right in front of me and run around the house looking for it like I'm, I forget things. I couldn't tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday morning because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some short-term stuff going on there.
Yeah. Well, I blame that all on me getting older. So
yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to use the old excuse on all mine. I hope I'm right.
Getting older.
What? Mike always calls me old. Hey, I can't help I'm not in my 30s no more, boys. I'm touching towards 50 more than I am anywhere near y'all's age. I'm 48 in March.
Bump that number up, so.
There we go. Yeah, it gives me hell about the age thing. What, Mike, you're 33, 34?
No, 34, be 35 in May.
Okay. Both of y'all still young. Well, I'm not totally old, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're old.
I feel like I'm an old man, bro. I feel like I look like a young man, but my body is telling me otherwise.
Yeah, your bump card? You still got a lot on your bump card?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're good then, I guess.
Look, I feel as old as he looks. That's
Well, you
pretty
must.
old.
Hey, bro, you
That's
must be
pretty old.
really good.
That's pretty old, man.
That's too much, man. That's not nice. I thought we were boys, Mike.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Hey, when you do your podcast later, tell Henry I said hi.
For
'Cause,
sure.
I don't really stay in touch. Unfortunately, I'm bad about that. Life is weird, but I don't really hit people up all the time. But tell him I said hi. I liked Henry. Henry was a good dude. He's one of the other good dudes up there. Him and Lewis Moore, both great guys.
I love those dudes.
Yeah.
You know, Henry was the first champion that I ever wrestled. I'll tell you a little quick rundown right quick. We were in the Reedsville Hotel, AIWF Mid-Atlantic. And I don't even think he was there yet or whatever. He was running late, and the promoter sent me out to the ring, and he was like, "He'll be here in a minute." Well, I seen like belts and stuff and champions, but like I was green as goose crap. I didn't know anything. I wasn't around anybody. And he walked out, and I think he was one half of the AIWF, either Mid-Atlantic or World Tag Team Champions. But I see this old school guy come out, and he has this Terry Funk look, and he has this jacket on, them old school Letterman jackets, and he has this, and I'm just like, this dude looks like a Funk brother. Like, he unzips, you know how George used to do the old school, slow, it take him forever to take that jacket off.
Yeah.
And man, I didn't even get to meet him before this match. I was just sent out there, bro. And I was like, they were like, I hope you can listen because you're out there with Matt Houston tonight. And we get to work in this match, and we're killing it, man. And the roof's low. So he picks me up for a suplex, and my foot goes through the roof. And he kind of chuckles, and he looks at the crowd and goes, "Now that's what I call raising the roof, brother." Boom. And every time I see him now, I'm like, Matt Houston, raise the roof, brother.
Wow, y'all like the hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, bro.
Wow. Okay. Damn. That had to be really low ceiling because I know that, there's low ceilings, but I've never seen that happen.
Oh, yeah, man. That's happened a couple of times for me.
Was that in a low boy ring too?
Yeah. We were in a little ballroom, dude. It was small.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty funny though. I'd like to see that. Is that on YouTube?
I think so.
I'd love to see that. Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, you got anything else, Mikey?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I think I'll.
What about you,
Come up with something later on.
Oh yeah, it always happens. Do you got anything you want to share with us before you get off here today, my man?
I'd just like to say thank y'all for having me. It's been an honor and a privilege to be on here with you guys. I'd like to have y'all on mine as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Do an episode of Talk and Shoot with you two. You know what I mean? And
yeah, hey, no questions off limit, my man. If you got anything you want to ask, by all means, do so.
That's awesome, man.
I'll be as candid as I can, unless I think I'm getting sued. But
oh nah, I ain't gonna get you sued. But yeah, man, I'd love to have you guys on mine. Again, like you guys told me, there ain't nothing that we can't talk about, and you guys can just be yourself, and you ain't got to worry about watching your mouth or anything. We're raw, uncut, unfiltered.
That's good because sometimes it slips on me.
And I try to put out Talk and Shoot as much as I can. I don't have a set date or a time. I try to put it out as much as I can. I'm gonna probably run like a 15 episode and spread it out in seasons so I can get back to wrestling and music and stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to have you guys on, and all the homies out there, make sure y'all check this one out right here. Check out my guys, man, because y'all my peoples, man, and I just love y'all, and I appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully we made some history here today, being the first guest on our podcast. And, like I said, we were talking about who to bring on first. the first one came to mind, and I just say stay tuned to see who's coming on next with us. We're going to try to keep this interesting as possible. And Yellow Man is always welcome to come back at any given time. Maybe go further in depth with other issues or whatever, man. Like Mike said, sometimes questions will come up later in your head, like, man, I should have asked the dude this. But I think we hit a lot of topics today. How you got started, talked about Boogie, and then just hear the passion that you bring to the business, along with your music and all that. It's phenomenal. I hope the podcast takes off for you as well. Let's get everybody go listen to his music. Give that a subscribe and like on his wrestling videos too. Go do that today. Also subscribe and like our stuff and our channel, Jamie and Mike's Wrestling Adventures. And I just had a phenomenal time, and I'm glad we had you on, my man.
I appreciate that, for real, man. Hey, tell your boys down in Florida too. The Yellow Man Child. I was born in Florida, Melbourne.
Okay.
And my family, my parents that adopted me, they live in Orlando. So you never know.
Do you ever get down here?
I'm actually saving up money for a plane ticket to go see my parents, my godparents. They moved from Virginia about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And they've been down there. And my mom just messaged me and said that she found a bag of my old wrestling figures. And I'm like, man, those things got to be 20 years old.
Yeah.
What my little girl's getting in it, I want to go down and visit them and get those wrestlers and stuff for them. So
cool. Well, if you ever get down here and you got time on the trip down here, you let me know ahead of time, and we'll see what's going on. And we'll hopefully I'll be on some shows, and we'll get you on them, and maybe ref some of your stuff down here while you're down here.
Yeah, man. Hey, I also wear stripes too, so if you need an extra referee.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, you never know. You never know what happens. It's the funny thing about the business. But absolutely, I'd love to have you down here and do some stuff and some good promotions in the area. So it's, I hear there's a new one going to start, maybe heat it up down here, and maybe you get on that. So good stuff, my man. And I'll be back in Virginia as well. Like I said, I'm going to come up, visit some wrestling shows, see all my wrestling people, and spend some time with Mike and different things, and maybe see some family. So maybe take a week up there.
Yeah, man.
I'll be
You're
back.
Always welcome, man. Yellow Man will whip it up for you and Mike. Come to Chef Yella's kitchen. We make anything for you.
You hear that, Mike?
It sounds good to me. I know I didn't talk a whole lot up in this episode, but I messaged James a little bit up in it and everything, because he asked me if I had any questions. Man, I was just sitting back and joining as a fan. I just love listening to people talk about it and stuff. So I'm just sitting back and I'm enjoying it. But next time you're on here, it'll probably be some more questions for sure. But man, like I said, it's good meeting you. I'm definitely gonna pick you up and everything, and be happy to get you back on here. And like I said, I was just joining it as a fan. So
that's what's up, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
I appreciate that.
That's what's so good about the wrestling business. Am I right, Yella?
Yeah.
You sit there and you'll meet somebody through somebody else, and you become friends, and then everybody is a full circle of friends, man. I'm telling you, the wrestling business is one of the most tight knit. The Real Brothers, that is, are the most real tight knit. You can't beat it.
That's right.
Camaraderie is the greatest thing about it, even more so than the ring part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Well, hey, Mike, nice having you on as well again. Yellow Man, my man, it was a pleasure for sure. I'm telling you. Stay in touch. We got our numbers, text, call, whatever. If you need something, if you need to come down if you're coming down to Florida, definitely let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to head on out with the wrestling jingle that me and Mike led this thing in with Yellow Man this week. And maybe we'll get some Yellow tracks on here and play them instead of the opening. Maybe we'll get you to do something for us, something small.
Hey,
maybe
I'll hook you up, brother.
A jingle. Yeah.
I'll hook you up. You know that.
All right. Sounds great. All right. So for everybody out there, thank you. Peace out. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Shake the room.
Mr. 2020 and the golden one dropping wrestling talk. Wrestling adventure, storytelling, no fake news here. Yo, Mr.